Have you ever felt like your business is just drifting, going wherever the wind is blowing? It's not unusual to lose sight of your original vision, but what happens when you stop steering your ship? Today, let's talk about how creating a clear, future-focused vision can help transform your business from chaos to clarity.
Welcome to Small Business Big Visibility, the podcast empowering you, adventurous small business owners, to attract your ideal customers and boost your revenue. I'm your host, Jason McKenzie. Each week, we'll explore easy-to-implement tools and strategies to take your business to new heights and build the lifestyle you want. If you're ready for more profits and less stress, let's get started.
Several years ago, I had the chance to take a family trip that was both exciting and it also made me nervous. You know the feeling when something big is coming up, and while you're excited, there's also that gnawing feeling in the back of your mind and in the pit of your stomach? That was me. But what really stood out to me was that this trip wasn't just about the excitement, it was the realizations that I made about my business during that time. So let me take you back. Years before, I'd started a web design business. I had a clear plan in mind. Work with manufacturers who weren't selling their products online yet. The idea was simple. I'd partner with them, get their products online, and take a commission on the sales. It felt like a no-brainer, right? Solid business plan. But as you probably know, things don't always go according to plan. At first, everything was going great. I felt like I was heading in the right direction, but then, over time, small obstacles began popping up. Things just were not going as smoothly as I thought they would, and before I knew it, I started drifting from that original vision. This drift didn't really happen just overnight, but once it started, it was kind of hard to stop. Instead of pushing through those obstacles and sticking to the plan, I began to adapt my business, shifting gears, changing course, just whenever I'd hit kind of a bump in the road or something was a little more difficult than expected. The more I made adjustments, the further away I got from my original vision. Have you ever been there? You start off with a dream, and then little by little, your business turns into something that doesn't even look like what you started. The shift in my business happened for a few reasons. First, I didn't give myself space to really address the problems that I was facing. Instead of stepping back and working through the issues, I kept adjusting my approach. That's when things started to lose their focus. The second problem was that I never went back to my initial vision. Instead of refining and reviewing it, I just changed direction. I was constantly changing without a clear roadmap. Perhaps that sounds familiar to you. Maybe your business has gone through a similar transformation. And while changing things up is not a bad thing, in my case, it wasn't my best decision. What I ended up with wasn't a successful evolution of my business. Instead, it was just a mess. I was stuck in a business that wasn't aligned with where I wanted to go. It was almost like just having a boat floating aimlessly in the ocean. I was equipped with a motor, I had the ability to steer, but I didn't have any direction. I was not navigating my way forward. I was just trying to avoid any waves as they came. This is when I had a major realization, and it came during the family vacation I mentioned earlier. As I spent time away from my business, I realized my approach had created a sort of cage around me. It wasn't a physical cage, but a mental one. The daily operations were keeping me chained to my business. I felt like a firefighter, constantly responding to urgent problems without any space to step back and assess where I was actually heading. It was exhausting, and it didn't have to be that way. Now, it wasn't until I took that step back and reestablished a clear vision for my business that everything began to shift. I sat down and I thought about where I wanted my business to be, not just in the next few months, but in the next several years. I wanted a business that didn't just react to problems, but one that had a clear direction. Once I set this future vision, I referred back to it repeatedly. It became my compass. It wasn't enough to just set the vision though. I had to constantly check in with myself. I would ask myself questions like, hey, Jason, are you moving in the right direction? I would review how I was building the future version of my business and identify the obstacles that were standing in my way. More importantly though, I would create a plan to overcome those obstacles step by step. Now, I'm not saying this was an instant fix. It took time and effort, but what I found was that by having a clear vision, I started running my business from a place of intention. I wasn't reacting to everything that came my way. I was proactively building the business I had been dreaming of. So here's my point. You can avoid making the same mistake I did. When you're running a business, it's so easy to get swept up in just this day-to-day, and over time, it's easy to lose sight of this bigger picture. But if you constantly keep your vision in focus and you actively measure your progress towards it, you can steer your business in that right direction. Creating a clear vision is far more than just an idea. It's a practice. So regularly reviewing and refining your vision is going to help you adjust your course when needed, and it's also going to keep you moving towards your goals. Now, if you're like me, you might be thinking inside your head, I don't have a clear vision yet. Or what if my plan needs to change as the business grows? Those are valid concerns, and I want to address them head on. First, if your vision isn't perfectly clear, that's okay. The key is to have even a vague idea of where you want to go. Even if your vision's a little foggy, it's still better than having no vision at all. Think about where you want to be in the next year, 3, 5 years, maybe even 10. Then don't worry about every single detail. You can paint with broad strokes on this initial vision. Just focus on the big picture and what you want your business to achieve. As for the concern about needing to change your plan as your business grows, that's completely normal. Your vision might evolve, and that's okay. The important thing is that you have a starting point and that you're willing to revisit and refine your vision regularly. You don't want to be like I was, constantly adrift without direction. So, while it's okay to adjust along the way, always make sure your adjustments align with your long-term vision. Many small business owners don't spend enough time on this step. They focus on the doing in their business without thinking about why or what they're actually working on, or if it will get them where they want to be. And that's a huge mistake. So, if you're feeling unsure about your vision, take some time to clarify it. You'll find that when you have a vision to guide you, your business becomes easier to manage and much more fulfilling. Remember, without a clear vision, you're steering your business with no destination or a goal in mind. If you found this episode helpful, I'd encourage you to take a moment, write down your business vision. Whether it's a one-liner or a detailed couple of paragraphs, it's okay, but having that clarity is essential. Once you've done that, review it regularly, and then let it guide you as you grow and build your business. Until next time, keep innovating, keep focusing on what matters, and watch your business thrive.